my training section. Um, and it's the first one I'll be doing so far. Though I've been having so many training, one-on-one training. KBC can testify to that. I've been doing one or two training, but for me to be having this line section, this is the first one. And I think I just want to be sharing my knowledge this time around with people, and that's why you guys are saying it. It's free, so no cost for alarm. And I'm still wondering what's keeping so many people off this training section. Why are they not joining? So I don't know that. Maybe because of the election, we want to be sure what that. But nonetheless, in a nutshell, I welcome you all to this training section, and I use this medium to appreciate you as well for posting, for waiting, for calling, for engaging, and giving notice to this section. We appreciate. Sorry for the call. One of my friends is disturbing me. So we appreciate you all for the support and the trust as well. So I believe you are not going to regret this, like my friend will say. So I think it's time to introduce ourselves. So myself, so many people, you guys should know me. I I go by the name Steven. You can call me Goat Steve. I'm a graphic designer, motion designer, UI designer, visual designer. Don't let me bore you with the designer stuff, but I do design a lot and I enjoy it. And I study as well, so you know say this guy, what's he doing? So I'm in school as well. I'm reading computer science. So actually, by right now, I'm working with a company. While I'm reading as well, I'm working with a company, and you can see the name of. If you are following the screen, you can see the name of my company there, MFS Africa. So, and I do graphic design, basically motion design and other related digital art design for them. So basically, I think my feed is just based on anything that has to do with computer aid design, anything that has to do with design in general. The name is 3D illustration, things like that. So that's what I invest my time on, and I've been doing it a while, and I think I'm not getting tired of the feed. So that's me in a nutshell. So if you have more questions as we go on this call, you can simply ask. But I will prefer we input our question in the group as I am going through the slide, so that does not delay us from the flow of the slide. So just input your question there. As soon as I'm done, we'll pick that up one by one and we sort that. So going on with the slide, KBC, you will introduce yourself by yourself. So you can have the floor now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abdulkabir Olaiwola Ibrahim. So I think majority of people that are on this video chat, majority of people know me. So I'm known as KBC Media. So you can also call me KBC Media Creative. You can also call me KBC Academy, anyone you want. So I'm the creative director of KBC Media Creative, and I've been a creative graphic designer for a very long time. Actually, Go Steve is my teacher, is my mentor, and everything you can call it. So I'm also the founder of KBC Academy. So at KBC Academy, what we are trying to build is just learning platform. Let me be simple, let me be minimalistic, just learning platform. So I'm also a graduate of Kwara State University, Malete. I studied library and information science. So if you have any question, I'd like to be simple, and also if you have any question, you can just drop it on the group as regard my personal life, but don't ask too much questions, Sha. So go Steve, you have the floor back.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Don't mind this guy. He's manipulating you. If you just give a small introduction, don't mind him. He's shopping money from crypto. I can see many of you voted for the crypto section. I think that will be coming up after this class. We will decide on when to have that course. KBC and Starly Gold were always in collaboration anytime to work things out. So I think what we don't have now, we don't have our handles. I used to have my handles on Instagram, but I don't really post that much. So and I have mind of posting one or two of my work and be doing one freestyle per week. So I think I'll
He's
just
very lazy. He's
I'll be
very
giving out my
he's very
social media,
lazy
especially my Instagram
actually.
handle. I'll be giving out, this guy is casting me. So I'll be giving out my social media handle after the class to the group. So you can follow me as well for tips. So so KBC is into crypto and design as well. I think we ran a particular stuff around December, but it was not that fortunate for us. But we are willing to put more efforts and come out of that shock, because crypto space, as we all know, it is not only about the crypto. I want to buy crypto, I want to do crypto. There are people that do design, there are people that do NFT, and there are people that are ready, companies that are NFT companies or cryptocurrency companies that are ready to employ graphic designers. So that's the aspect we are going to, and we are still making moves to do that. So that'll be all on the introduction. So why we are here? So the main purpose why we are here in this training is business as usual. No talking, not too much of introduction. So after introducing everyone to the class, I think we should introduce you to design world generally. So we want to provide you the basic knowledge for you to become a designer. Now I'm spreading it out. It's not about graphic design. It's not about UI UX design. It's not about motion design. But there's one thing common in every of these things. It is their way of putting things out. So that's what we want to talk about today. We want you guys to understand that fact and be able to amplify it, utilize it, then put a lot of effort and go out there and make exploits with what we have given you guys. So we are always open for one or two questioning here and there. So we'll be out there. So this training outline, as we all know, is on how to make us better designer or beginners, whichever stage we have. So is either you are an amateur or you've learned design one way or the other, or you've not started at all. So this training is to feed you the necessary knowledge. So before I go on, I would like to apologize for last week. Sincerely, we have so many things going on, especially me. I have a lot of things going on. I need to sort a lot of work to complete this slide, to arrange your resources file, to do a lot of things. So, and it's it's scratching me down. So I couldn't finish it on time. So I apologize for you. I apologize to you guys that I'm very, very sorry for postponing it to today. So that being noted, I think we will move on to the next stage. So one point to note as well, I am not specifying your method of design. Either you are a graphic designer using your PC, or you are a graphic designer using your mobile phone, or you just want to start a career in UI UX or motion design, you have just come to the right place. So just pay attention, listen, have your jotting material with you, your paper, your pen, have it right with you, and note out what you can note now. Though, as we said earlier, we'll be providing the video for this section, and also the slide to this section will be providing for you guys, so you can easily go through it while you are done with all this. So now, introduction proper. We want to introduce you to design. So across all resources and definition, the term design varies, but one thing is constant in all: the ability to plan, construct, create, and project visual representation, ideas and experience with visual and texture content. So don't mind my jargon or my English. So the basic purpose of you designing is to gather information and put out this information in a very clear manner. So I'll go back to the definition again. It said to the ability to plan, to construct, create a project visual representation. So you are coming from the world of when we are typing. I don't know if some of you have seen graphic design in early stages. The graphic design is basically most of fonts. we have newspaper in olden days like 17s, in the 70s or in 1990s. So we have newspaper in those form, and basically what you can see most are typography. But the way they arrange those typography and what they do with them makes it very known. Give us this clear vision of what design or what purpose that thing is serving. So that's design for you. So in a general terms, graphic design is just a way of communicating your client idea to their end customer. What am I trying to say? So the main essence, the main purpose of you designing anything is for you to communicate a business idea to a customer's view. So you are telling the business, don't worry, I will help you translate your business proposal, your mission, your vision. I will help you translate them to a visual representation. Are we all following? Are we all following, guys?
Yes, we are. We're following.
Okay. So can you please? I want to ask anybody a question. Please, can you go back to the WhatsApp group and share the meeting link again? Someone is calling me to ask for the link. Please, can anyone do that for me? I don't want to go off this screen because that means you guys will not be seeing anything on your mobile phone. Once you have done that, just let me know so I can continue. So let me just do that. Let me quickly just allow me to share the link with someone. Sorry.
I already shared it.
Okay, thanks. So are we following, guys? Hello.
You are following.
So what did I say?
So
what did I say about design? I just want just one answer.
Yeah, you said you were going to. It's just like translating the mission and vision of a company into simplifying it into a design, something like that. That's what you were saying before. Somebody interrupted you.
Okay, so actually what I said was the main idea of you designing is to transform a business idea, a content brief, whatever a company has given you, to a client's version. So you are communicating that business idea to low-level customer. So what I used to tell my students most of the time is, no matter how beautiful your design is, no matter how qualified, generic, how, I don't know, how arranged they are, if a layman, I mean someone that is at the lowest, cannot interpret your design, cannot tell you, oh, this is the message this person is passing, then the design is useless. So the main purpose, I don't know, some of us will have done English. I am talking about higher level English now, maybe in ND 100 level. I think we go about communication. Communication is not one-sided. You have to have the receiver and the sender. So that's how design works. You are designing and the company giving you info, you are the sender of the information. So the end user they are the receiver, and they must do what? Understand. So in those books we read, is communication valid if the receiver is not getting the information? Hello?
We are with you.
So is communication valid if the receiver is not getting the information the sender is passing? Please, can someone just answer that so we can move on?
No, it's not. It's not.
Thank you. So it is not. So we must put our users at the back of our mind, no matter what we do, no matter which graphics tool we are using. remember, the graphics tool is just to amplify the idea we have. The graphics tool, so many people will come to me, Mr. Steven, I want to learn graphic design, I want to learn Photoshop, I want to learn CorelDRAW. Whichever tool you are using, you should have this at the back of your mind, that your designing purpose, your first principle of design is to what? Is to communicate clear idea. So we'll move on to the next slide. So what is graphic design? So graphic design is the ability to communicate a brand message successfully to its end user. I think I've talked about that in design while explaining design. Telling a story using all or a few components of design. The fundamental of designs are the foundation of every visual medium. From the axe to modern web design, from the axe to modern web design, they are even present in seemingly unimportant details like the fonts that make up most composition. So what this brief is telling us, or what this graphic design is telling us, that some people might just come and mo fẹ́ gbogbo wàhálà yẹn, mo like nonsense yẹn, graphic design mo ṣe fẹ́ ṣe for now. So it's now telling you that the only way for you to be a graphic designer, or for you to know graphic design, let's put it that way, because some people say, I want to know graphic design. All our mind now, when we join these classes, we want to learn graphic design. Even if I did not tell you people directly that you want to learn graphic design, what we communicated was, if you want to learn design, join this class. But at the back of your mind, you have it that graphic design, la fẹ́ lọ kọ́ lọ́wọ́ Mr. Steven. So whichever way you have it, but I'm trying to split the field for you now, because under design we have so many branches under it. So for graphic design, you have to be used to the fundamentals of design, and usage of this fundamental of designs and principles of design makes you a graphic designer. So we talk about graphic designer. Graphic designer creates concepts, visual concepts, using computer software or by hand to communicate ideas that inspire, inform, captivate consumer. They develop the overall layout and production design for applications such as advertisement, brochure, magazine, and report. So what graphic designer do? We know the job of a graphic design. We know what graphic design means. So now, as a graphic designer, what is your job? So your job is to create a visual concept. Some people say, which one is create a visual concept by hand? We have so many graphic designers now. Some from, maybe when they are in school, they join theater art, some join art normally, just they want to learn about art. So most of these people, like my school now, they have access to computer software, whereby they can draw and repeat that process on their software, on computer software. So they are graphic designers. Some people do call them graphic artists, but now because we are creating visual concept, and please don't mix this up. Graphic designer, graphic artist, they are not the same. Everything is not just design. No, we have different fields here. So a graphic designer deals with more of printing jobs like magazine, brochure, advertisement, pamphlets, and stuff like that. That's what a graphic designer do. So for graphic artists, they are basically into art and illustration. Excuse me. So graphic artists are mostly artists that create a piece like art in a project or cartoon for cover of a particular project. They can do a partly designer job or collaborate with a designer to finish the job. So sometimes, I don't know, maybe this year Jump story pamphlet, I think I saw it. I don't know, maybe this year or last year. The art you are seeing in the front of that cover, it is not, I don't know, KBC, have you seen the one for this year? Hello?
For who?
For Jump, the storybook they are using for Jump.
No. I did not really notice.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Is anyone writing Jump here? Eh? Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ta ló rẹ́rìn-ín yẹn? Ẹ̀rín yẹn pọ̀.
It is the life
Is anyone
changer.
speaking Gambia?
It is the life
I'm right
changer. That's the name of the storybook.
Okay, thank you. Who gave me that question? I'll give you resources. Resources
The
that
name
will
of the storybook is Life Changer.
life changer. So if you, I don't know if you have seen life changer, you will understand what graphic artists are really are. I don't know if I can share my screen, but don't worry, I will snap it and share it in the group so you guys can see the book. So as a graphic artist, that's what they do. They do more of illustrations, cartoons, and things like that to put on a cover. So at the end of the day, they might not really finish the book. It might just be the illustration they will do, and they will just leave the rest because the remaining parts they are not used to it. They are not conversant with it. So that's the job of a graphic designer. Please don't forget, as we are moving on with the class, if you have any question, please be dropping them in the group chat. So as soon as I'm through with the presentation, we can pick them one by one and sort them out. And please have it at the back of your mind. We might not finish the class, the slides today, so we have to continue tomorrow. So, who is a visual designer? Like when we started the class, I said I'm a visual designer, I'm a blah 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 and blah. So actually, a visual designer is just someone that is conversant and very professional about the use of a brand identity. So a visual designer is specific. They don't just do, most of them are not freelancers because in the world today as a designer, we have freelancers. We have people that do go into graphic design, collect job from companies. Actually, I'm still doing freelancing as I'm working with my company. Please don't call me Ole. I don't want to hear. So I still do freelancing job. I still do that because that's where I started. So I can't cut off those clients like that. Is there anyone saying something? Hello? Hello?
Continue. Nobody saying anything. Continue.
Okay, thank you. So as a visual designer, a visual designer is specific about the use of color, use of fonts, because that's their specialty. They are very, very, very skeptical about how a look and feel of a brand is being put out there. So that's the work of a visual designer. So and each of these profession we have been mentioning so far has their own area of specialization, have companies that do employ them. But in Nigeria, generally, what we do understand and know is graphic design. So I think we'll talk more of that today. So we have motion designer. Motion designer, everybody here, we know what motion is. So you just combine it with designer. So a motion designer is someone that illustrates, that animates, that has to do with a time frame. So the person does not just only work on visuals this time around. They make the visual pleasing. They make it relatable to our every life activity. Like when you see a student going on the road playing football, the ball bounces. So a motion designer wants to illustrate that kind of thing to you. They will replicate that process as well for you to have that look and feel of, oh, I think I've seen this thing before. They make it look real, apart from having that static feeling that, okay, this thing is just a picture. So a motion graphic designer works with animation, audio, and visual effects to create moving content and graphics for various media, such as television, the internet, the film. Motion graphic designers work with creative teams to incorporate design elements into a project. So you can see that it is not just one man business, but like we all know in Nigeria, we have to be doing a lot of things. And that's why from my portfolio earlier, you are seeing a lot of things there. Actually, it's the way I am growing. So I can't really cut off some of the things I'm doing because I started from just being a freelancer, normal graphic designer. And from there, I keep on moving forward and moving forward. So UI UX, I think that's the talk of the town now. Most of us, we are into it. Some of us, we are not into it. Some of us, we are just hearing about it now. UI UX, UI UX designers are into two because we have the user interface designer and we have user experience designer. UI stands for user interface and UX stands for user experience. So a UI designer works on the interaction, works on the visual effects works on the color, the font, the shape of a particular interface. So UI designer works basically on the look and feel of a particular product. Maybe our bank app, example of that is our bank app, what we are currently seeing on our bank app. Some of us have OP accounts, UBA access. Some of us, we are using other apps such as Netflix. We are using Instagram. So this is the work, that thing you are seeing on your screen every time. And this Telegram we are using as well, the design, joining the group chat, some of the basic information, like what you are seeing, what you can see on the screen is a work of a UI designer. And the UX designer, they are basically in-depth. So UX designer has to do with the research behind UI, UX. So let's think of a UI as the flesh and body. I know some of us, we've done biology in our secondary school now. So without a skeleton, there's no body, there's no flesh. The flesh and the muscles cannot stand. So UX is like the skeleton for UI, because before you can put out color, before you can put out the shape, before you can put out the interface, you have to have a structure. What's the user feeling? What's the user thinking about? How is the user reacting to this color? How is the user reacting to the product? Basically, the user is angry with the particular product. What way can you make it better? So that's the work of a UX designer. So from that, you can interpret it and put it into a design format by UI designer. Are we following?
Yes.
Hello, guys. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So when we move to the next part, I would like to ask, are you enjoying the class?
Sure, we are. I am actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm actually hearing one person.
It is a very interesting class.
Oh, thank you. So I want to move to this section. Thank you. So I want to move to this section, but please, whatever I've talked about in the past or why we are here, before we get here, is just peripherals. Please, this, as from this part on, is very serious. Please pay attention and jot whatever you can jot down, because I'm be talking out of the slide, which is very, very important for you to note those things. So let's talk about elements of design. What are the elements of design? What do you need to put together to create a beautiful piece? What do you need to put together to have? Some of you will just come up with design, be asking yourself, is this design okay? Because you don't really know if what you are doing is wrong or right. So we want to talk about elements of design. Please, if you are not saying anything or I'm not asking you a question, please, you can kindly mute your mic so we don't keep on distracting others. So what are the elements of design? From what you are seeing on my screen, you can see we are seeing a lot of things. We are seeing line, color, texture, size, space, value, and shape. You can keep mentioning them, but I think for this class, I'm going to pick out 6 and explain them to you. So elements of design are the fundamental aspect of any visual design, which include shape, color, space, form, line, balance, and texture. Like we learned in when we are explaining what design is, we said for a design to be complete, or for a graphic design to be complete, the person has to be conversant and be able to use the fundamentals of design with the element of design. So let's talk about those elements now, one by one. So for line has to do with any straight line, anything we are seeing that has a starting point and end point. A line is a shape that connects two or more points. It can be flat, thin, wavy, or jagged. The list goes on. Every possibility gives the line a slightly different feel. Lines can be used to create shape, text, and texture. I know in element of design, some of you might be asking me, where does font come in place? Actually, you can categorize font under line, because if you check our font very well, let me just share my screen and let me take you to, I think I'm working on something. So let's check this piece very well. Let me just change the. So if you check, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
So if you check this screen very well, you are seeing save the date. So from what you are seeing now, you can see it's combination of different line from one point to another, line from different points. So font as well can be categorized under line, and we have normal line, we have dotted line, we have curvy line, we have line we use for illustration purposes, like these 3 lines here, like this line, they are just for illustration purposes. So, and the one we use in creating the font, they are line as well. So the next one is shape. Shape is any 2-dimensional area with a recognizable boundary. So we all know, we know our shape now. We all went to primary school. We know parallelogram, we know triangle, we know square, we know circle, which are part of our design. So, and if you have been checking my slide from the beginning till now, you will notice that you have been seeing a consistent shape in my slide as well. So I think I will use that one to ask a question later in the class. So the next one is form. When a shape becomes 3D, we call it a form. So 3D objects, maybe 3D text, 3D box, 3D whatever, they are under forms. So those two, they are part of our element of design. So we have texture. Texture have to do with our background, our things we know they are like, they have physical touch. So when you are going, normal floor should be somehow cemented or tile. Our wall should be somehow concrete. Those kind of feelings. So if someone asks you to do a mock-up, you know what the experience of a sitting room or a room will be. So those are texture. So texture is the physical quality of a surface, like form. It can be part of a 3-dimensional object, as the example below. So space and balance. So space and balance has to do with things. When we have a design space, I'll take you to that my design stuff again, or any of my. Okay. So if you check this canvas very well, you will notice that we have a particular rectangle shape, and after that we have our save the date. But around the save the date, we have a lot of space. So our space is also part of our design system. I can see someone has already posted the Life Changer novel. Thanks for that. So the artistic work you are seeing there is a work of a graphic artist, just to re-emphasize on that. So space and balance has to do with what we really do. Is it aligned to left? What space am I giving it to the right? What space am I giving to the left? Is the spacing equal around my main design? So that's what we have on space and balance. So now I want to go into another aspect of design. So when we talk about space and design, we talk about design, we talk about how the design should look. So we have one thing we have to put at the back of our mind, is whether we design symmetrical or asymmetrical. So this method is very essential, because you can't just be placing all of your objects on every place you can see on your A4 flyer, A5 flyer, or app interface to talk about. So you can't just be placing, you should be following a fundamental pattern, a pattern that you can easily make reference to when you are talking to your client. When your client is saying, why did you put the text at the center? Why do you put this thing at the left? Why do you put this thing at the right? It should be a kind of call to response to what you give to that person. So without wasting our time, I added what's it called? The site for all these references purposes at the end of the slide, so you guys can visit and make reference to that. But for the sake of the class, we will just make reference to symmetrical and asymmetrical. So from what we can see here, I'm sorry, let me just go to my reading list. Sorry. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I was talking about symmetrical. Oh, this thing is available on the page as well, so you can just. So I just want to show you an example of symmetrical and asymmetrical design system. So without wasting our time. So from what we can see here now, are you all seeing my screen? Hello?
Yes.
So what we can see now,
Yes.
the first image, which is with this one I'm highlighting, this first one is a symmetrical design. That means everything on that page is aligned to the center. So you don't want message, you don't want anything to flow left, you don't want your text to align to left. So you just want your design to be at the center. So the next one is asymmetrical, whereby what matters most in this type of design is the balance of your design, the weight each of these content carries. So you notice that the so fine jewelry have a lot of weight because of the logo. You put it at the side, then the name of the owner of the business card and the designation, you put it under it, the address and that. So that is an asymmetrical design system, because you are not mentioning by the space you have. Now you are mentioning by the content you have. You are mentioning by, okay, this should be placed here, why the other one should be placed here. You are being conscious about balance. So that's asymmetrical design and symmetrical design. So like I said, you have the links to go and verify these topics more and more on your own. So the next one is principles of design. Some of you might be asking yourself, how do I know if I have a good design? What will I do to have a good design? What are the things that do guide me? So that's why I'm saying you should pay attention to this section. It's very, very important, because those are the things that informs you personally that, oh, what I'm doing is not correct. So principles of design. We have a lot of principles of design. If you even go online, you'll be tired. Like, you'll be very, very tired with numerous. I was talking to one of my students one day, and I was telling her, I can only tell you one fundamental one that I carry along all the time, and it's very universal to all the remaining ones. And that's what I'll be teaching in this class. I don't want to talk too much so we don't get carried away. So the principle of design, understanding the principle of design and how they interact is vital for both new and expert designer. That means there's nothing you are doing that you should neglect the principles of design. You cannot do away with them. It's not something you can forget. And that's why I'm bringing it out for you in a very short form. So the acronyms I'm using for the principles of design is called CRAP. CRAP. That's contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. These four principles are the major. I'm not saying they are the only principles of design. Don't get me wrong. Out of the principles of design are what I took you guys earlier, the symmetric design method and asymmetric design method. But I just put them under design fundamental elements. But this scrap, they are just like universal to every other principles of design. Sometimes when I check books, when I read books, sometimes they list 7, sometimes they list 12. But no matter how many the list goes on, these 4 remains constant. And that's why I want to repeat it for you guys. So no matter what you are designing, crap is very, very important. You can be taking every other thing, but crap is the most important one. So we talk about it. So what do we mean by crap? We talk about contrast, like I said earlier, contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. So like we all know, contrast has to do with visibility. That's what I call contrast. But not only that, contrast is in different form. We have contrast of color, contrast of text, contrast of shapes, and contrast of arrangement. In that way, we can call it hierarchy. So in some principles of design, you might be seeing contrast and you might be seeing hierarchy. But whichever way they are placing it, the main purpose of contrast is to make a particular object or element visible on your design. How visible is that element on your design? So contrast simple. There's also example we can see here. We are seeing a white color rectangle with a gray color rectangle. So for the fact that we can identify that without difficulty that there is a gray color rectangle on a white color rectangle, it means there is a proper contrast there. The text I'm reading to you guys on this slide, there is a proper contrast there because the text is coming out as white or a very light gray, which some of you might not notice, and you can see it, and the background is very dark, so it's giving us enough contrast for us to identify or give us clarity to the information. So the next one is repetition. Like I said in this class, I said I'm going to mention one thing. What have you guys noticed that is constant from this my slide since the time I started? Hello? Hello?
The background.
Yes, sir.
The background. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. So when I started this my design, in order to attract your user and tell them you know what you are doing and pass the right information, you have to make use of your design principle. Number one thing is your contrast. Your contrast has to be consistent. It has to be very visible. The second one is repetition. If you can check my screen very well, the background has been repeating itself and my arrangement of text has been repeating itself. We don't have white text and later we now have green text and later we now have purple text, and because I am communicating design system to you, so me myself I have to practice it, and not for the sake of practicing it, because I'm used to it already. I cannot even violate the law again because I'm used to it. So repetition is not only about repetition of background or repetition of a particular image. Repetition has to do with your color, repetition of how you use your color, repetition of how you use your font. If you check my design now, all of my text fonts, they are the same thing. My text fonts are the same thing. For header, my text size for header is constant throughout the whole design. And for subtitle, my text size for them is the same thing. For paragraph text, my text size is being repeated throughout the slide. So you have this issue of you already know what the next slide will look like or imagine it in your head. So you are anticipating for the user, for the reader as well. So repetition is key. You have to repeat some things. So when I talk about repeat, that does not necessarily mean someone should now put a text at the top and repeat the text at the bottom, or unnecessarily repeat colors and say, oh, because Mr. Steven in the last class we had with him said you must be repeating color. So person now puts a square circle and puts the color. Shall combine the color so as to repeat. No, you have to be very informative about what you do about your design. So repetition is key. So we've talked about repetition. This repetition is supposed to be proximity. Proximity. Please, if you are saying repetition the second time, it's supposed to be proximity. Proximity is all about using visual spacing. You know, in the other fundamentals of design, we talk about spacing and balance. So proximity is what lets you manage those two. Whether you are designing or you are just doing some swift work around you in a particular software, whichever software you are using, you want your proximity to be key. You want proximity of a particular item or grouped layer. You want them to be together. While the proximity of other items that are not related, you want them to be grouped in another place. So you want them to see, you want designers to see those things and say, oh, wow, I know what this guy is talking about. So from this picture, you can see that the bigger picture is telling you that everything inside that black circle, or inside that black rectangle, rather, is one piece. And the other part that has to do with visual marketing for enterprises is telling you that that thing is standing alone. Not standing alone like it's not part of the design, but it's not part of the bigger picture. They put it as a rider. So it's coming as a subtool, like a subtitle, something that does not really matter, but matters as well, that add information to a particular content. So you want to practice proximity when you are designing as well. So the second part is the alignment. And this is where you need to now measure your symmetrical and asymmetrical design fundamentals. So am I aligning to right? Am I aligning to center? Am I just scattering my design all over the place? So if you check this design very well, this particular design, everything here is being aligned to center. Everything on this design is being aligned to the center. While everything here is aligned to the left. The logo is on the left. The name of the holder of this card and the designation is aligned to the left with a spacing in the middle of the logo and the next information. The address as well is aligned to left, but under the name. So you have to be very determined and very conscious of how you make use of your design. So the last thing I'll be talking about design system is the rule of third. How many of you can see my screen? Can see the picture of the lady?
I can.
Hello? Okay.
I can do.
Okay. Okay. So now the picture we are seeing here, which I'll show you in another tab now for you to have the clarity to it, is talking about how people use the rule of third. I'll emphasize more on it and let this be clear. But if you don't understand, you can easily just call me and I'll explain that to you again. But please pay attention so you will not have to call me, because I might have to postpone you for another session or a brief talk. So rule of third. Many people, including designers and photographers, use a strategy called the rule of third. This imagines your work area divided into a 3x3 grid. The focal point of the image is placed on or near one of the grid lines, creating a visual balance with the rest of the space. So I don't know if you guys understand this, but I will use a particular image online to make reference to this. Let me just type rule of third. So I'm actually looking for a design, not a picture this time around. So I think we have one here. We can just follow. Okay, fine. So let me just save my downloads. Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So so I want to use this image to explain rule of third to you, so you can get the information clearly. So from the definition we have in the slide, it said your design piece is being divided into 3. And I'll show you some of my design this week that I have used the rule as well. So you not say, he's just going online and he's speaking things. I'm talking about rule of third, blah, 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 blah. So it's now dividing your design into 3 pieces. Like you will create, it's like taking a pencil and a ruler on your particular design, and you draw 2 lines horizontally, then 2 lines vertically, but make sure they are evenly spaced. So after you draw that, the main image that depicts what you want to pass, the information you want to pass, rather, will be on a particular section of the grid. That means we fall under one line. Then other information will go to the other side. Are we following? Are we getting? Do we even get this concept?
It is not.
We are following, sir.
No. No.
Apart from TJ and Rachel, is there anybody having issue with this rule?
Yes.
Okay. So let me do the practical form for you guys. So you follow along. I will just briefly show you a design I did with rule of third. Then we'll just zoom into the next thing. So I will not even use another one. I will be using this. I'll be taking to the main design. Then I will explain this to you. So I think I still have the file open somewhere. So if this is my company's work, you are not meant to be seeing this. So now let's can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So let me just put a grid line on this. So I'm putting a grid line on this. 1, I'm using my ruler in case you are asking what am I doing. 2, then 3, then 4. So now, if you check the main image, that is the image of the Oga that is on the rocket flying to space. You can see that is on one particular grid line. See this grid line I'm moving. Can you see it?
Yes.
So the image of the Oga and the illustration of the whole scene is on one particular grid line. While my text and the other information is on another grid. So what this information is telling you is that basically people's eyes works in forms. Like they dissect your design into different forms. So they expect a particular image to be this way, or a particular design, or a particular text to be this way. So is someone talking? Is someone talking?
No. Just continue.
Okay. So now this design is telling you that okay, your image and the area that attracts people. So that's just the concept now. The main illustration that called the attention of people supposed to be on a particular line. Out of that grid line you have cut out. While the remaining aspect of that image of that your creative will be on the other part. So this information is not to overload you. I know you might not get it once, but it's a thing you can practice as time goes on. So you will be used to it. It's not something you can get now, and start practicing now. So, but it's just a concept, and it's an idea that has been in existence over since the 90s, and we are using it. Photographers have been using it. Even photographers, when they want to take landscape picture, that's what they do. Let me go back to the former slide now. See now, see this guy now. You can see the red line now. Hello.
It is obvious. Yes, you can see. Yeah, yes.
So I just want to go to this one is talking about design rule. Blah, 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 blah. So another aspect is this. Sure you get. You can see that my one was placed on the right, while this guy's information was placed on the left. But the dog itself and the someone tell me what you are seeing here, and I'll just explain to you briefly. But can you just illustrate this particular piece? Let me download it and show it in a full screen. Can someone just explain, just analyze the design and let me know if you understand what you are seeing? Hello? Anyone can just try.
Okay, yes, sir.
Is it related to rule of third or?
Sorry, is Okiki on this call? Okiki, are you on this call? Don't worry, let's move on. So who else is trying? Okay. I just want to be sure you guys are following.
I'm not really
So-
sure, but I can see the image is on this line, and the message is on the other line. If I'm not wrong,
Yes.
I guess that's kind of message passing.
Yes. So you get it. So I think you are absolutely right. So the image, the main face of the dog, the dog is practically on every part of this design. Don't get me wrong. Now, the dog is practically on every part of this design, but the face of the dog that we want to adopt as the this like a web page that we want to adopt for the design is on a particular side of the grid, while the text is arranged on the other side. So if you can see where we have the text, we have something like a blur background there. Is that true?
Yes.
So that is telling
sir.
us the designer does not want the background to distract us from the text we want to read. So as well as it's positioning everything and making everything look fine, you know that for this right side or left side rather, what the information you should be seeing should be the text, like the contrast of the information now. You know, we've talked about contrast now. We talk about repetition. So the contrast of the information you should be seeing now should be the text, not the dog's clothes or the rope in which the dog was wrapped with. So as a designer, you have to be deliberate about these things and be using them because you know they are the right thing. You are not just designing just to design one social media thing and post, put on social media. No. I think let me check one of my work this week. So this is like This is a symmetrical design as well. Someone will ask me, báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ symmetrical? It's not on the right, it's not on the left. But remember, in the principle, what we said is on the line that you are creating, on the grid that you are creating, your main object must be placed on a particular grid that out of the line. Your main object must be placed on a particular grid. So if you should put like a grid here, a grid here, a grid here, and a grid here, all these things will be falling at the center. So that means immediately the user open their eyes on the design like this, without even looking around, they are seeing what is at the center. So another sample, I think, another sample of that is this. The guy is here, and every other information is coming to this side. So can we move on with that now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I wasn't really listening. How would I say it? I wasn't very well. I think the network was breaking.
Oh, is that the same for everybody?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was the network. Sorry for that. So actually, what I said before now, I was just explaining this. I said the rule of third has to do with you having your design on one of the grid line. That means you want your user to notice some information from left to right and from right to left. You want to direct their eyes, how they perceive the information. So no matter what you are designing, you have to be deliberate about the principles you are using and be able to defend it. You can come tomorrow, Mr. Stephen, I designed this, and you want me to tell you, is it good, is it bad? But before you ask me, have you put those rules, these laws, have you put them in check? Are they working? Did you follow the laws? All my text here, they are being aligned to the left. My image is on the right, and the text, everything is on the left. Even the smallest one here is on the left. So that's rule of third. The other one I showed us was this. So sometimes you might just, say, oh, I want to put my design on at the center of the page. I want people to just look at the center and they are seeing all the information. Fine, that is a symmetric design system. You can follow that, and when you are putting it in the order of rule of third, it might not be 100% accurate, but you have a principle by following. And in rule of third, that means you are putting your image, the actual illustration at the center. Remember, the main purpose of the rule of third is for you to have one of the grid lines to align with your illustration. That means your illustration or the main message of the design must be under one grid line. Do we get that now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's continue. So from that, we go to color theory. Color is very vital, whatever you are doing. And sometimes when I go online, I see design, I do not even bother. I do not think. I don't used to. I do not used to think twice. I'll just zoom up and close the page or swipe up. And most of us, we do these things most of the time. Whenever we are going and we even rubbish, though we cannot design it. Abi, sure, we can design it.
At all.
But the main thing we will just push out is rubbish. Fine. So that's because the person does not even understand color theory. And like I said, design fundamentals need to be understood. Design principles need to be well understood. You need to know all these things before you can even start designing. And the lack of those values in designer leads to what we are seeing outside now, because some people do not even know it. What they just know is Photoshop, CorelDRAW, and they want to design. So basically, when we are talking about color plays a vital role in design and everyday life. Wherever we are now, we are seeing one color or the other. You can't lie to me about that. Even if you are, I don't know, which movie did I watch that everything inside this world is black and white? I think it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The other spider that is in black and white. Did anyone remember his name? Hello,
No.
you're not doing as if you did not used to watch movie.
We don't watch Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is
Okay, I'm the only one that used to watch Spider-Man. Abi. I'm the Spider-Man.
Akemi of Soul Lawo. Akemi Lawo.
No, Akemiko, Akimuni, Akim of school.
I don't.
Wait. So so to what I'm just saying in essence is just that we need to be conversant with color. Wherever we are now, we know we are seeing color. And whether you like it or not, your design should be based on the preferences of the color you are seeing around you. Some of us will be saying, Kilotun survive. Well, how does my design work have to do with what I'm seeing around me? So let's say you want to design something that has to do with farm. Once I mention farm, what comes to your mind immediately?
Green.
Hello?
Something green, Sha.
Hello?
Upland.
Yes.
No, we are not talking of color.
Okay, plant.
Grass.
Or plants.
Grass.
Green or plants,
Grass,
yes. That's
plant.
where I'm going.
Yes.
Yeah. Once I talk about farm, you are thinking of plant, animal, blah, blah, blah. So if someone should tell you, if someone should now tell you, I have a farm, I want to design a flyer for my farm. And you now go and design red and yellow color design for him. Ẹjọ́ ta ló ń sọ̀rọ̀? Ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́ni ẹ pa mic ẹ̀. I will off the mic from here now. Ó máa wọ bala blue. So once it is designed, the person said, I have a farm that I do plantation and I rear animals. Immediately your mind is going to green colors, maybe brown color. Then maybe if you want to now use accent color, maybe in my master class, I'm going to talk about those things. But for now, you know, say accent color can be red, just to lay emphasis on some instances. Or we now talk about orange, because sometimes we want to talk about nature, blah, blah, blah. So for farm, you already know, farm is green. That's what I'm talking about environment. You know, when they talk about events, you should be talking about something brown, pink, light blue. You know what I'm talking about now? You're already having a perspective. Once someone mentioned a particular thing, you already know, this is the color that goes right with it. And that's what color is. In our environment, in our everyday life, we see color. That's what we deal with. It can draw your eyes to an image. Sometimes it can trigger an emotional response. It can even communicate something important without using any word. Someone will ask me, how is that possible? Hello?
How is that possible, sir?
Hello?
Yes, we are here.
So,
We are here,
how is it
sir.
possible? So, if you are going on the road now and you see your if you are going on the road now and you see your traffic lights turning red, Ejo, share my soda titi.
Lie.
Hello, so that's what color stands for. Colors are used to. So, colors are used to those terms. We know what danger is. Once we see a danger sign somewhere, someone did not even need to put man, beware of dog, don't put your dog, don't come here, dog is here. The moment you see that danger sign, vibration like kini red loma call. Sometimes when we are in our street, we see this some houses, they'll say this, they will write with red color. This house is not for sale. If kini can sell, kini can. The message they are passing is just that without even reading the text, without doing anything about the text, you seeing the red letter, it means danger. And another instance means failure. Like when you have your report card now, I might not even be close to your report card, but the moment I see some scores inside your report sheet tí mo dẹ̀ ti ń rí red lọ mo ní ọmọ yìí ó ti bá Fatai múlẹ̀, Fatai wọn àti Fatai ti jọ jẹ dinner. So that's color. Color give you that perspective. It give you triggers emotions. It tells you, color tells you when to go, when not to go, how to react. We know, everybody know now. And sometimes red can be love. Imagine our Valentine color now is red. So immediately you see a love icon, you are expecting to see the red color on it. If the love icon does not have red color on it, it will be biased. It will be like, you love love to blue. Like blue. So some people start giving it you love to green. Because we are already used to that kind of thing. We know. Don't mind me.
Wetin be this? Wetin be this? Wetin be
I
this?
just like making jokes. Don't mind me. Hey, TJ, be careful. So I'm just trying to explain color to us. Like making mention of some items, we already know what emotions, what they should be, without even having the color or knowing the color beforehand. We already know danger is red. We already know love is red. We already know. No wonder some people they used to serve them breakfast like 3-4 times because love is danger. Love is. Don't let us go into that one. Let's continue to our class. Sometimes it triggers emotion and triggers a lot of things. Imagine color of roses is red. It's danger. You go and collect roses during Valentine. Your own, I cannot even explain. Let's move on. So let's talk about the basics of color. We what do you want to say now? Don't worry. It's because you are not paying for this class, and that's why you are not taking me serious. Moving on, let's talk about the basics of color. We are used to color from one object to the another. Even as we are speaking, now we see colors around us in our environment. This color let us feel in some ways by bringing a memory or infusing a feeling. We already have their knowledge of color plays a vital role in a design and everyday life. It can draw your eyes to an image. Sometimes it can trigger an emotion response. It can even communicate something important without using words at all. So when we talk about color, there are certain times I would like us to be used to, and we should be using mostly this time. Sorry for that. So we should be using this term frequently in design because we already know it. So one of them is hue. We call it hue because basically hue has to do with color. When you talk about hue, you are talking about colors. It's different color. When you say hues, what hue are you using? That means what color are you using? So hue is the easiest one. It's basically just another word for color. In the sample below, that means I'm going to show you guys sample. Don't worry. You might describe the hue as coral pink or red or blah 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 blah. So when you see anything like hue, they are just talking about color, different color. Saturation has to do with the intensity of a particular sorry. Let me just use that. Saturation to intensity refers to intensity. In other words, whether the color appears more subtle or vibrant. So that's what I was trying to remember. Talking about the vibrant, how vibrant is the color. So when we see some red colors are very vibrant, while some are very subtle, like they are not really shouting. Let me put it that way. Some colors, when you see them, some people will say they are off-white. That means it's either creamy or very light gray or a very light yellow or a very light pink. So that's what we mean by saturation. What's the intensity of a particular color in that color mode you are seeing? So that's what we talk about saturation. The value. So the value has to do with how dark or light a color is. So what what range of lightness are you using in your color? What range of darkness are you using in your color? So other types of color, which I was talking about earlier, I say I'm going to show you guys, is monochromatic, analogous, complementary, split complementary, tragic, RGB, CMYK, HSB. So for monochromatic, it's just tones or shades of a color. So that means when we have red, we have other shades of red. So when we have analogs, so on the color wheel, which is what I showed you guys earlier when I started color. This is a color wheel. This circle you are seeing here is called a color wheel. So when you want to identify a monocolor, analogous color, split complementary color, these are things you will look. Excuse me, guys. I want to take water or fumetic bear. So thank you. So this is a color wheel. So when we are talking about, let me go to a website so as to explain this better. Where is that my reading list? So let's talk about color. So I'm going to give you guys what's it called? Access to this link, so you can just go check check the content out. Some of you might not be ready to read all these things, so that's why I'm taking my time to explain it to you now. So in 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to stop the class, take your questions, then maybe tomorrow, by special grace of God, tomorrow we continue from there. But I think I'll finish with color, then we can move on. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You can see this.
Aye.
So this is a color wheel. Like I said earlier, this is a color wheel.
I can't see your screen. Oh,
Okay.
I can see your screen
So
now.
so this is a color wheel. So when we talk about monochromatic is just talking about one color with different shades. So for analogous, we are talking about color that are very close related, like beside each other in the color wheel, but there should not be more than 3. Do you get that? So from this example you are seeing now, that means we have a royal blue, we have a sky blue, and we have green color. So they are together on the color wheel. So this is another example. So complementary, they are colors that are opposite each other, directly opposite each other, or directly adjacent to each other on the color wheel. So you are seeing color like red and green will be the one that will follow it. When you are seeing something like purple, yellow will be, or orange yellow will be the one following it. So that is complementary color. Split complementary is just like drawing a rectangle on your color wheel and turning it anywhere. So whichever color that triangle picks will be your color. Tragic is talking about, it's just like opposite of split complementary. So this time the triangle is upside down and it's picking color from that side. And tetradic color, this one is just like square or drawing a rectangle on your color wheel. So that's the concept of the color and all that. So other ones that are not on that website is RGB. RGB simply means red, green, and blue. CMYK means cyan, magenta, yellow, black. And HSB means hue, saturation, and brightness. So before we talk about typography, which I I think I'm going to suspend for tomorrow because you guys came in late. We started the class almost 5:30. So now we are running to like 7 o'clock. So I will not want that. But please tomorrow, please come early so we can easily finish our class on time. So I just want to go back to one of the element of design. I think is principles of design, rather alignment. So when we are talking about alignment, it does not have to do with shapes alone. Alignment still goes as far as arranging your text. Some of you are used to Microsoft Word. When you type in Microsoft Word, sometimes you justify it. That's the most common terms in Microsoft Word. Sometimes you align it left, sometimes you align it right, or sometimes you just put it at the center, depending on which method you want to use. So I think I'll be stopping there for now. Or do you guys want me to continue? Hello?
You are free to continue, sir.
Hello?
You are going to continue
You
tomorrow.
are free
Continue. When you say will stop.
Please, I don't want everybody to be worn out. I don't want the information to be too much. So whatever you jot down today, I'll just beg us all. Let's join very early tomorrow. Like if you say 5, I want people to be on the call even before 5. So we can start on time, then finish on time. I think we have 1 hour for this class, and we have already exceeded that, and that's not fair, please, guys. So tomorrow we are going to start with typography. Please, if your mic is on, can you just mute yourself for the benefit of others? Hello, if you have your mic on, can you just mute yourself? So, for the benefit of others and those that have 1 or 2 things, some people have not been able to go out since morning, and they are just about heading out. So, for that, I'll be ending the class now, and let me see if you have any question on the group. KBC, do you have any question on the group chat?
No.
Okay.
Question.
So it means we are all following. Or let me say, people are waiting for the video of this section. Please, if you have questions, please let me know now.
You can also ask questions after this class. You can ask questions on Telegram group. You can ask on WhatsApp too. But regardless, ask questions now. As the odds, I mean, I dey follow Bala Blue and Obi.
Then don't mind them. They want Obi to win. Better you focus on. I can see someone typing already. So
Bala
if you
Blue.
have questions, let's just ask. So we iron that out now. So we compile that one with tomorrow. Blue. Bulaba.
Bàbá ẹ lọ́pàá yìí.
Who is this guy sef?
Obi.
You don't chop mutton.
Okay, I think we have a question from that.
Koyuma.
I think we have a question from Abdul Razak. He's saying
she's a she.
She's I go and place the wrong time. Is it her or he?
She.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry for that mix up. So you said you she did not really understand the part of the analogous color theory. So I will just go back there once more. So from what we are seeing on my screen, that's why I have to pull up this image so you can just get it. So it means you are picking color from the color wheel. Don't worry, I'm going to give you guys sites whereby you can get color scheme, how to pick your color, and using these terms that we have discussed: analogous, split, complementary, tragic. All these color types are on that site, and I'm going to give it to you guys. So don't worry about that. But the purpose of it is just for you to know what you are doing with the colors. So this theory is simply saying that colors that you keep picking, they are just three, and they must be beside each other. Let's say, for instance, now I'm picking red from the color wheel. So my color will be red, deep orange, golden orange, or yellow orange. So these three, they are analogous. So I don't know if you get that. The color are just like three children. They must be together. They must be together in line. Not you pick one color from red, then you come to the next circle, you pick yellow, then you come to the next side, you pick purple, or you come to the next side and pick green. No, they must be beside each other in the color wheel. Did you get that? Okay. Nice. So that's for the other color theory too. They are I think they are good, but for starters and people that are not really good with color, you can start with the first option. Then later, maybe as you are going up, you can just be adding little of accent color. But no matter what you are doing, don't let your color option should be more than 3. Once you have more than
Whatever to say, what about say, I'm going to make you go to me when they dance. Because you want me to do it, yeah, I don't do my friend, it's when I was saying, go for your soul, you know, the day was a share, no one look at my paramo, no doubt what you wish you got, I'm a trip, but let's like I listen, I'm a little girl,
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back, our host.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back.
Sorry, I had little connection issue. I just tried to connect to the line. Like, I see some people has already left, but from the question I'm seeing, I think I've answered one. I'm left with one, so I will just talk about it quickly. So the CRAP is an acronym. So, and the CRAP stands for contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. So, we talk about contrast. We can have contrast of color, contrast of arrangement, contrast of text, contrast of what again? I'll remember the last one. So that's for contrast. For the second one, we have repetition. So you have to repeat some certain element of design in your design. So let's talk about color. You have to repeat color frequently in your design. There should be a dominant color in your design. You must have a color that speaks to a particular brand. Oh, this is the way my brand is feeling. Okay, this color is representing it, and I'm using it often. So the second one is alignment. You have to align your text and information properly. Maybe you are aligning to right, or aligning to left, or aligning to the center. Whichever method you are using, you must use them properly. The other one we have is proximity. Proximity has to do with the spacing and the balance between your design element and your actual artboard. For us now, we know we have A5, we have A4, we have design size for social media, Instagram, and every other thing like that. So all those things, they are design space. All those sizes, they are spaces. So your proximity, in order to work with all those elements and put them at a very unique place in your element, that's what we call proximity. You need to be sensible about it and very intentional and creative about it. So I think that should answer the issue on CRAP. Do we have any other question apart from those two? Do we have any other question apart from those two? Please, let's say. I really like Mimi's. I don't know who this Mimi is, but I really like her input in the class. She's really following up and asking questions. That's a good one from her.
She's my wife, my official wife.
Your wife, Abby?
My official wife.
Your official wife? No, she's doing great. She's doing great. She's even laughing at you in the group. So, for the rule of third, yes, I wanted to mention it, but I think you guys did not know this. But let me talk about it again. So, for the rule of third, for now, rule of thumb might be somehow complicated. So some of you might not even get the idea. That's just the scene we are seeing now, because you are just new to design and you are just new to the whole principle thing. Some of you don't even know designing as principle. So you are just hearing all these things for the first time. But I'm telling you, there is a principle for design. And part of this principle has to do with rule of third. So the rule of third is just you placing item strategically on your artboard. What do I call artboard? It's a specific space you have to design on. Like you have your A4 size, A5 size, social media design space like size. So your way of placing items on those design space have to be monitored with rule of third idea. I've showed you example, but I think I will show you guys again. Part of the example I used, am I still sharing my screen, guys? I don't think so. Am I?
Oh, no.
Okay, let me just share my screen. So my screen is up right now, Abby.
Yes, it's on.
Okay. So the rule of third is, I was explaining to you guys, is something like this. Basically, you just have to split your artboard into 6 or 9 grid. But what you are doing actually is you are having 4 lines, 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines that are evenly spaced. So what you just want to do is you want to create 3 segments. Let me now break it down finally for you now. By the time you draw 2 horizontal lines, 2 vertical lines, what you will have on your design is 3 columns vertically, 3 columns horizontally, or 3 rows rather. So you have 3 rows and you have 3 columns. Are you guys following?
Yes.
So when you divide your design with these lines that you are seeing, these lines, what you will have on your design is you have 3 rows and 3 columns. So we are now saying that for you, because it's rule of third, do you get what I'm saying? Because it's rule of third. So for you to have a pleasant looking design, your image, your illustration must be on one of those vertical columns, or vertical line rather. I don't think you understand me. That means out of what you have divided, the columns you have vertically, your illustration must occupy one side of it. Did anyone get this?
Yes.
So every other information will be pushed to the other 2 columns. So you are telling yourself that you want the person to perceive a particular thing first, then the others. And the contrast you are giving to the main image or illustration will definitely be more than what you are giving to the others. That means you are saying you are paying attention to a particular object. On this particular screen now, the object we are seeing here now is the dog. Like the dog is taking like 2/3 of the whole illustration on this screen, while the other elements are taking just that 1/3. So that's rule of third. It's like you are dividing your whole creative into 3. The one that has the biggest value takes like 2, while others takes like 1. So you have divided them. For photographic terms, I can check if you can see something like that. So check this out now. Check this out now. Where you are seeing the dog or the wolf or whatever it is, that animal, you can see it's staying on one of those columns. Are you following?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are following.
Okay. So that means that one is just taking one of those, is taking one portion of those things. And the other information is flowing. We have every other information around him, but we are putting the focal points, like the focus point on that dog. We want you to notice the dog first, because that should be the most visible thing on your design. Another example is this. Sure you get. So I think that should be all. So that should be all. Any other question? Please, if you have questions, just let's continue dropping the question in the group. I will keep answering them and continue giving you guys the I'll keep on creating the class. Me at the Java right now.
I love her just like that. He said, baby, you're for me. But make it not do me on you. He said, let me love you, baby, my shit call you. Be right for you.
I think we should end the Telegram live now. So if you have any other questions, put on WhatsApp.
Let us continue the
Okay.
music now.
KBC said you guys should drop questions on WhatsApp group. So please, let's do that. So I will attend to all questions this night or early tomorrow morning. I'll give you answers to it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Please, let's come early so we don't waste time. Let's come early. 4:30 or 5. 5 we should be online. Before 5 we should be online. And please talk to your friends.
Thank you for the class. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Thank you, guys.
KBC wife, you are welcome.
DJ, oh yeah, DJ Chicken.
Thank you for the knowledge.
DJ, play another song now.
I send any song that you want me to play now.
Play Abracadabra.
Okay. Abracadabra.
Yes.
Abracadabra about what? Stability.
Stability. Wait till it is.
I will sing Akabadabra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine girls from my bed. No boy in my bed. Them girls on my bed. All of them naked, undressed. We know where the ball like this. We know where to spend like this. And the money pass. It's not in King Bay with Yes. If you try, this boy, you'll get talk. Girls with the twerk. We end up pop.
Abracadabra.
Fine girls from my bed. Let's go to fly like a bed. like this, you know. Cause I chop like you. These guys got some money. Walking and walking, you walk my pass. That's when I saw that you go fast. I saw fat, I saw that. I wanna give it back.